Welcome to my World Review channel. The tension is palpable. Spencer's journey to Montana has been the slow burn we've all been waiting for. But episode 6 flips the script, throwing all the carefully laid plans out the window. For weeks, we've seen Spencer trapped in an endless loop of good intentions and frustrating delays. He's met mafias, dealt with historical figures, and battled his own inner demons. But none of it has brought him closer to the one thing he's been screaming for, home. And now, just when it seems like he's on the verge of returning to the Dutton Ranch, the show hits us with a shocking twist. His arrival isn't as simple as he thought it would be. It all starts with Spencer's frustration. He's been stuck in Europe, running from his past, but always with one eye on Montana. He's told everyone time and time again that he's coming back, but up until now, it has felt more like a threat than an actual promise. For him, it's been a waiting game, but for the rest of the Dutton family, it's been a countdown. Spencer's long absence has left Jacob and the others in the dark, unsure of when or if he'll ever return. But in episode 6, everything changes. Spencer's finally taken the first real step towards Montana, but it's not going to be easy. Nothing in his life ever is. The moment Spencer boards the train, the air is thick with anticipation, and you can almost feel the weight of history bearing down on him. He's not just returning home, he's walking straight into a powder keg. Jacob and his men have been eagerly waiting for him, but they aren't the only ones. Donald and Banner, those two snakes in the grass, have made sure they're ready for Spencer's arrival. In fact, they've been waiting for this moment as much as the Duttons. With every passing hour, the Dutton Ranch becomes more and more like a ticking time bomb, and Spencer is about to become its trigger. But let's not forget about the other side of this dangerous coin. The sheriff. We've seen his loyalties waver, and in this episode, his role becomes more important than ever. In a moment of desperation, he seeks out Jacob, hoping that the Dutton patriarch will listen to his pleas and stop Spencer from returning. But Jacob's not having any of it. He's tired of playing peacekeeper in a war that was never his choice. The sheriff may think he can keep things calm, but Jacob's answer is simple. It's too late. The war is coming, and nothing's gonna stop it now. And it's not just Spencer who's feeling the heat. While he battles his way back to Montana, Alexandra, still dealing with the aftermath of her harrowing escape, is facing her own crisis. The world around her is closing in. The British family who rescued her offers her some peace, but at what cost? She's struggling with more than just the pain of the journey. She's dealing with a body that's failing her and a future that seems increasingly uncertain. She's pregnant, and she knows that every day that passes brings her closer to a breaking point. But can she survive long enough to meet Spencer again? And if she does, what kind of future will they have together? As Spencer moves closer to Montana, the dangers only escalate. There are whispers of a robbery, a dangerous, desperate attempt by criminals who seem to think that every train is a gold mine. But this robbery isn't just about money, it's a warning. It's a sign that the world Spencer is walking back into is one he may not recognize. And worse, there's word that Donald's men may be lying in wait, hoping to stop Spencer before he even reaches Montana. If this is true, it's a clear indication that the stakes have gone way past personal rivalries and land disputes. This is about survival, power, and a fight for control. The question on everyone's mind is simple. Will Spencer make it to Montana alive? And if he does, what kind of world will he step into? In episode 6, Spencer's long awaited return isn't just a victory for him, it's the spark that will ignite everything the Duttons have been trying to hold together. What Spencer finds when he finally steps onto that Montana soil could change everything, and trust me, it's not what you think. If episode 6 is any indication, We're in for a scandal that will shake the foundation of everything we thought we knew about the Duttons. And remember, all of this is just the beginning. The explosive consequences of Spencer's return are about to unfold, and with each new revelation, the stakes get higher. Episode 6 is just the first step toward a battle that will define the Dutton legacy for generations to come. But who will be left standing when the dust settles? That's a question we're all dying to have answered. Second, as Spencer nears his destination, everything about his journey screams that he's walking straight into a storm. The weight of his past, the baggage he's been dragging behind him, and the desperate need for closure collide with the harsh reality awaiting him in Montana. The tension doesn't just build from Spencer's arrival, it comes from the very nature of the world he's returning to. The Dutton Ranch has been under siege for far too long, and now Spencer is the catalyst for a change that no one saw coming. As much as we've wanted him to return, this episode shows us that sometimes things aren't always what we imagine they'll be. We've all seen Spencer's frustration, his resolve to get back to Montana. But what's most intriguing is how, in episode 6, the show takes a step back and reveals just how much his return impacts more than just his family. Spencer is not just another character, he's the key to unlocking the deep-seated conflict that's been simmering beneath the surface of the Dutton family. And yet, when he finally arrives, things are far from the warm homecoming fans have been hoping for. In fact, Spencer's return feels like a betrayal in itself. After all, how can you come back home when your home is no longer the place you remember? Jacob and his men have been counting down the days, awaiting Spencer's return with a combination of hope and tension. For Jacob, this moment represents not just the return of a beloved nephew, but a critical piece in a game that's been stacked against them from the start. The Duttons have always been about survival, and the arrival of Spencer marks a turning point in their fight for dominance. But while Jacob's men are eager to welcome Spencer back, it's clear that they're all entering a new phase of this battle. This isn't just about ranch land anymore. This is about taking control of their future and protecting what's theirs. And with Spencer back, they believe they might finally have the strength to fight back. But things don't go as smoothly as expected. When Spencer steps off that train, he's not just met by Jacob and his men. No, he's greeted by something much darker. Donald and Banner have been preparing for this day just as much as the Duttons, and they've got their own plans in motion. The town is a powder keg, and Spencer is the spark. From the very first moment of his arrival, you can feel that things are about to get violent. With every step Spencer takes, the weight of everything he's done and everyone he's hurt starts to close in on him. Montana isn't the home he thought it was. It's a battlefield. Let's not forget about the sheriff, who finds himself caught between the two sides of this conflict. In previous episodes, we've seen how his loyalty wavers, but now he finds himself in a position where no matter which way he turns, it feels like the wrong choice. The sheriff's role becomes even more critical in episode 6. His desperation to maintain peace puts him in a dangerous position, and he's forced to make a decision that could have catastrophic consequences. Does he side with the Duttons, or does he go to Donald and try to work out a solution? He knows that no matter what, the situation is quickly spiraling out of his control. The town is about to erupt, and the sheriff might just find himself caught in the middle of it. The tension between Jacob and the sheriff builds to a boiling point. Jacob's answer is firm. It's too late for peace. In that one moment, we understand everything we need to know about where the Duttons stand. This is no longer a fight for land. This is a war, and Jacob is ready for it. The sheriff's attempts to keep the peace are futile, and his desperation to find a solution only reveals how unprepared he is for the chaos that's about to unfold. Jacob has no interest in being a peacekeeper anymore. The war started when Donald and his men tried to take their land, And now, the Duttons are going to finish it. The sheriff may want peace, but the Duttons are ready for battle, and they won't back down. Spencer's arrival only adds fuel to the fire. As much as Jacob and his crew want to believe that Spencer's return will be a turning point, it's clear that his arrival is far from the solution they hoped for. In fact, it's the beginning of something much darker. The moment Spencer steps foot on that train platform, everything he's been avoiding for years comes rushing back. His connection to Montana isn't just about family, it's about history, betrayal, and the fight for survival. The Duttons have been fighting for so long, but now, with Spencer back, the real battle is about to begin. But even as the Duttons prepare for the chaos Spencer's return will bring, the show doesn't let us forget about Alexandra. In the midst of the impending war, her storyline takes an unexpected turn. We've watched her struggle, tried to escape, and tried to find a sense of peace. But peace is a luxury she simply can't afford. In episode 6, she finds Third Spencer's journey has been long and exhausting, but what he's walking into is far more brutal than anything he could have imagined. The battles he fought in Europe seem like mere skirmishes compared to the war he's about to face on his home turf. Episode 6 shows us that Spencer's return isn't just about settling old scores, it's about stepping into a war that's been brewing for years. The Dutton Ranch, once a place of refuge and legacy, is now a battleground where survival is no longer guaranteed and the future is uncertain. From the moment Spencer steps off the train, you can feel the shift in the atmosphere. His arrival isn't greeted with the hero's welcome fans might have expected. Instead, there's a sense of foreboding, a realization that this is the calm before the storm. The ranch has been under siege for so long, and now Spencer is the figurehead of everything that's been simmering beneath the surface. In a way, his return feels like the final piece of a puzzle that nobody was ready to complete. Spencer, having spent so long running from the past, now finds himself running toward a future that's filled with far more bloodshed and danger than he could have ever anticipated. What's most striking about Spencer's return is not just the physical journey he's taken, but the emotional toll it's exacted on him. Every part of him is broken, from the trauma of his time away to the guilt of abandoning his family. His re-entry into the Dutton world isn't as simple as walking back into the fold. There's a dark undercurrent to his actions, a weight of unresolved issues he can't outrun. Spencer isn't just returning to a family, he's returning to a legacy of violence, betrayal, and a battle that never ends. And the moment he steps onto that platform, it's clear. Spencer is no longer just a soldier fighting a personal war. He's a Dutton, caught in a war that spans generations. While Spencer is dealing with the fallout of his return, the other characters are facing their own dilemmas. Jacob, ever the steadfast patriarch, is grappling with the fallout of his own choices. As Spencer makes his way toward the ranch, Jacob is torn between his love for family and his desire to protect the land. The ranch isn't just land to Jacob, it's his identity, his reason for living, and his fight for survival. But as we see in episode 6, Jacob is more than just a rancher. He's a man who knows when it's time to pick up the sword and fight. The war for Montana isn't one he started, but it's one he'll finish. And with Spencer's return, Jacob knows that the stakes have just gotten higher. This isn't just a battle for the land anymore. It's a battle for everything the Duttons have worked for. But it's not just about land anymore. Episode 6 introduces us to a darker side of the conflict, one that has little to do with the Duttons themselves. As much as we've focused on the Dutton family and their struggle to hold on to their ranch, the show is beginning to show us the unseen forces at play. Donald and Banner, two men who have spent the entire season conspiring and plotting against the Duttons, are more than just adversaries. They are the embodiment of everything the Duttons are fighting against. They represent the corrupt power structures that want to control everything the Duttons have built. And the moment Spencer returns, it's clear that these two men aren't just watching from the sidelines. They're ready to act. In episode 6, the tension between the Duttons and their enemies reaches a boiling point. Donald, knowing Spencer is on his way, takes the opportunity to strike, planning an ambush that will leave the Duttons vulnerable. But just like every time before, Donald is underestimating the power of the Dutton family. Spencer's return isn't just a threat to them, it's a declaration of war. Jacob's resolve to protect his family and his land will not be swayed. But the question remains, how far is Jacob willing to go to protect everything he holds dear? And how much will Spencer be willing to sacrifice to bring his family back together? Meanwhile, as Spencer is about to re-enter the war zone, Alexandra's fate continues to hang in the balance. The fragility of her situation grows with each passing moment, and while Spencer's return is expected to be a turning point, it's clear that her own journey is a much darker one. Alexandra's health continues to deteriorate, and as she becomes more desperate to reunite with Spencer, her body betrays her. In episode 6, the stakes for Alexandra become even more critical. She's pregnant, and her condition is growing worse by the day. With the constant stress and turmoil she's been through, it's hard to see a future where she emerges unscathed. The British family that took her in has tried to provide some solace, but it's clear they are not the answer to her problems. Alexandra may have found refuge, but not safety, as her